But if you've really experienced this idea of oneness with God, your whole perspective changes. This is again from the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus speaking. Don't store up treasures here on earth, where moths eat them and rust destroys them, and where thieves break in and steal. Store your treasures in heaven, where moths and rust cannot destroy, and thieves do not break in and steal. Wherever your treasure is, there the desires of your heart will be also. Your eye is a lamp that provides light for your body. When your eye is good, your whole body is filled with light. But when your eye is bad, your whole body is filled with darkness. And if the light you think you have is actually darkness, how deep that darkness is. No one can serve two masters, for you will hate one and love the other. You will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. Most of us are probably familiar with the first part, don't store up treasures on heaven or on earth. And we're familiar with that last part, don't serve two masters. But it's that middle section that most people don't know. I added in on verse 22, inner consciousness is what I means. So the I pertains to your inner consciousness, the way you think. Because really everything is inner consciousness. Paul says that a Christian can build with hay and stubble, but how can that be if he is overtaken completely by God? They are one. The person isn't less one with God than those who build with gold, silver, and precious stones. The person that builds with hay and stubble. It's that person's inner eye, his inner consciousness, that determines the quality of the work. Seeing the separation, self-effort, self-improvement means building with things that are consumed when tested with fire. You see the analogy, the hay and all that, it burns up. Self-effort, self-improvement, that doesn't last when it's actually tested. When someone really tries to gets you going, if you have only grown because of self-effort, you're going to go off. As President Obama would say, you'll pop off. But if you've really experienced this idea of oneness with God, your whole perspective changes. And it's not like that. It doesn't happen overnight. Our inner consciousness doesn't expand in one fell swoop. It's a series of things. But if all we see is our oneness with God, if that's our eyesight, then our entire life is different. This passage is not about money, per se. Money is a sense of comfort, a sense of security. And he's saying, don't store up your treasures here on earth, store them in heaven. As we saw last week, the kingdom of heaven isn't there. It's not over there. It's within you. Ooh, store up your treasures within you. How do you do that? Love. Relationship. Those are things that cannot be destroyed by moths and cankerworms, the old term. The relationships that you form, the life that you build, is something no one can take away from you. Paul was in prison with waist up to his waist, cool, with poop up to his waist, chained, uncomfortable, and he wrote an entire book about joy. His treasure wasn't stored on earth. It was in heaven within him. When we look at one another, we can either look at how can I use you to get more stuff? What can I do with you so that my comfort is better? When we try to date people, we're like, what can you do to make me better? Isn't that what we look at relationships for? How are you going to benefit me? Oh, baby, you complete me. I love you because you make me good. You make me better. But we're not looking at what I can add to that person. We're not looking at what this relationship together can add to the world. The reason that I'm building community here is not to have a great church with a pretty building and sports arena and all these different things with flashing lights and names on it. It's so that people can actually experience love with one another, storing up treasures in heaven, not on earth where they can be destroyed. Wherever your treasure is, your heart will be also. Ain't that right, Governor? I think it's something around there.
The desires of your heart.
The desires of your heart. Different way to look at that, isn't it?